Welcome back, everybody, to the Daily Pigskin Blink. Here to look at fantasy football in the NFL, injuries, starts, sits, does, previews, reviews, and everything else to help make your fantasy football team sizzle. We're going to be taking a look at favorable matchups and starts this weekend, entering Sundays and Mondays games. The Houston wide receivers, including Andre Johnson, Kevin Walters, and Owen Daniels, could be huge this weekend against a Tennessee Titans defense that gives up about 460-plus yards per game, including 8 touchdowns to receivers on the year. Versus rushers, they give up about 150 yards per game, as well as a total of 4 rushing touchdowns on the year. So Ben Tate could also be a solid sleeper this weekend if Houston gets out to an early lead and the Texans start to cycle out Foster. The Green Bay offense could be a solid play too. The New Orleans Saints give up so much yardage in games, about 470-plus yards per game, but their biggest fault is on the ground. The Saints have given up on average 215 yards per game, along with 6 rushing touchdowns on the year. So look for Cedric Benson and even Randall Cobb to get some fantasy points. Jordy Nelson versus this sorry defense will finally see the end zone this year, along with James Jones, Greg Jennings, and Jermichael Finley, possibly each getting a 100-yard game. In PPR leagues, look out for Randall Cobb to have a good solid week. Tampa Bay is squaring off against the Washington Redskins, and that means fantasy value for you. The Skins have given up over 425 yards per game and a league-high 10 touchdowns to receivers. So look for Vincent Jackson and Mike Williams to be solid plays on Sunday. Doug Martin will also see some scoring both on the ground and possibly in the air. Jacksonville will finally see more fantasy value in their players than just MJD as they face off against a bad Cincinnati Bengals defense. Cecil Shorts should grab fantasy start here for the Jags, and MJD is always his weekly number 1 running back start. On the other side of the ball, the Bengals get to try to pick apart a Jacksonville defense that gives up over 400 yards per game, 290 of those being from the pass, 5 touchdowns given up on the season. AJ Green and Andrew Hawkins, who has double digits in each of his last 2 fantasy weeks, are the Bengals' 1-2 punch in the air. The law firm Ben Jarvis Green Ellis will also be seeing the end zone this weekend. Seattle's and San Francisco's rushing games will be on point this weekend, and Arizona and Oakland's aerial assaults will be primed and ready to go. Other people to watch: Peyton Manning, as he faces off against the Oakland Raiders, Ryan Fitzpatrick against the New England Patriots, Christian Ponder of Minnesota against Detroit, Michael Turner against Carolina, Mikael LaShore against Minnesota, Stephen Ridley playing at Buffalo, Denarius Moore playing at Denver, Eric Deckard against the Oakland Raiders, and Leonard Hankerson, the number 1 threat in Washington, against Tampa Bay. That's it for me for my quick look at solid starts for this weekend's action. You can check out this broadcast as well as every other broadcast of the Daily Pigskin Blink at fantasyfootballtoolkit.com as well as 360sportsnetwork.com. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything under the sun that you want to ask me, send them on over to lostcause at fantasyfootballtoolkit.com. Take care, everybody. Have a great Saturday.